I'm not even sure how to start this one out. Trump had one of these Oval Office things where he's signing sort of executive orders or whatever they're called now. Some of them are proclamations by the God. He's got the gold Trump card. I'm not even sure how to call it. It's extortion. Plain and simple, it's extortion. And I'm going to let you watch this thing, and he'll tell you how great it is and all that stuff. But for $1 million, if you're kind of a high-end employee, you will get an expedited visa to come to this country to work. Does it? Okay. If it's a company, it has to pay $2 million to bring this guy to our shores to work. I'm not sure if this is just to get more jobs for Americans and high-end stuff or something, or what, but he thinks all these companies, like an American company says, I want to hire this guy from, France. And they'll expedite the visa for $2 million for the company to get this guy here. Now, the regular visas, I kind of get the idea that they're just not going to improve anybody at all, because they only want these guys that pay the $1 million or the $2 million. None of this, to me, makes any sense at all. His Commerce Secretary, that I can't remember the guy's name, he's a dingbat, but he comes and says, well, most of the people that come here are low wage. I don't know. Maybe some of them are, maybe some of them aren't. I don't know. But he comes up with some numbers that, they make $66,000 and they're on welfare or something and so on. And I think if I made $66,000, I wouldn't be on welfare, but whatever. It's more of the smoke and mirrors numbers that these always give. I don't know, was this just something for Trump to blow about? I don't think it's going to do anything. He said, well, we'll get billions and millions and trillions and, all these money that's going to come in, pouring in from these guys. And I'm kind of thinking, I don't think anybody's going to do this thing. But listen to this, and we'll talk a little bit afterwards.
We have two items for your attention today, sir. A major focus of your administration has been shifting the conversation and shifting the policy dynamics around the issue of immigration, closing the border, preventing illegal immigration, but also, as is the case with the executive order in front of you, opening new pathways for truly extraordinary people to come contribute to America instead of taking away from it. So this executive order is entitled the Gold Card. It will set up a new pathway, a new visa pathway for foreigners of extraordinary ability who are committed to supporting the United States for a payment of $1 million to the U.S. Treasury, or if a corporation is sponsoring them, $2 million by that corporation, and that will give them access to expedited visa treatment as part of this new Gold Card program.
And one of the biggest problems we have is that people, they go to the best schools and they do great and they get great marks, and then they're thrown out of the country. You're not allowed to stay. This way, a corporation will be able, sort of like a signing bonus in baseball or football, a corporation will be able to get them to stay in the country. And I think it's going to be tremendously successful. Howard, would you say a few words about it, please?
Sure. So historically, the employment-based green card program let in 281,000 people a year. And those people, on average, earned $66,000 a year on average, and they were 5 times more likely to go on assistance programs of the government. So we were taking in the bottom quartile, below the average American. It was illogical. The only country in the world that was taking in the bottom quartile. So what we are doing now is we are going to stop doing that. We're going to only take extraordinary people at the very top. Instead of people trying to take the jobs from Americans, they're going to create businesses and create jobs for Americans. And this program will raise more than $100 billion for the Treasury of the United States of America.
Which we'll use for cutting taxes and paying down debt. We think it's going to be very successful. Essentially, we're having people come in, people that in many cases, I guess, are very successful or whatever, and they're coming in, they're going to spend a lot of money to come in, they're going to pay as opposed to walking over the borders, and they may come from jails, prisons, and everything else. These people don't. They're very productive people. And they're going to pay $1 million. The corporation's going to pay $2 million. And it's going to raise billions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars, which is going to go to reduce taxes, pay off debt. I think they're going to be very happy. Everyone's going to be happy. And we're going to be able to keep people in our country that are going to be very productive people. And in many cases, these companies are going to pay a lot of money for that. And they're very happy about it. Go.
Thank you, Mr. President. One of the most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H-1B non-immigrant visa program. This is supposed to allow highly skilled laborers who work in fields that Americans don't work in to come into the United States of America. What this proclamation will do is raise the fee that companies pay to sponsor H-1B applicants to $100,000. This will ensure that the people they're bringing in are actually very highly skilled and that they're not replaceable by American workers. So it'll protect American workers, but ensure that companies have a pathway to hire truly extraordinary people and bring them to the United States.
We need workers. We need workers. We need great workers. And this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, do you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land. Train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here. $100,000 a year for H-1B visas, and all of the big companies are on board. We've spoken to them about the gold card.
They love it. They love it. They really love it. They need it. Go ahead, Sean.
The $100,000. Okay, if you want someone to come into this country to help, say, set up your company to produce in the United States, he's going to charge them $100,000 per worker per year to come into this country and do this work. Now, try to understand this. This is extortion. It's just government level of extortion. And you may think, well, it doesn't mean nothing to me, but it does. How far are you going to go before these companies decide, I don't want to deal with this, and simply move out? Just remember what happened to the Hyundai plant. I'll give you this video and you can look at that and see what you think. We may think, well, American workers and all this. Why don't you take some of the people out of our colleges and put them in there? They're not going to do that. For one thing, they don't understand Korean. They can't read it. They can't understand it. And you're bringing people over there to set up assembly lines and so on like this, involving a lot of industrial secrets that they're not going to just let go to anybody. And they have to come over here and set this up. I mean, I've seen this in this country where we move stuff to Mexico. Well, people had to go down there to Mexico to help these guys get going on this, because it wasn't, it's not that simple. You got to get it set up. And so he's putting in another block, another extortion. If you want to work in this country, you have to pay up some more. I mean, does this make any sense at all? I mean, you can say, well, we're American workers, like I was saying, but guess what? When you treat other people like this from other countries, are they going to want to come back? You think those Korean workers are going to come back? I don't think so.
South Korean workers detained in that sweeping immigration raid at a Georgia mega plant jointly run by Hyundai and LG Energy Solution are set to be flown back to South Korea. The workers were among 475 individuals detained on Thursday. This was during one of the largest immigration raids in recent history. CNN's Mike Valerio joins me now from Seoul. Talk to us about all of the variables here, because there is a constituent variable there in South Korea. There's the corporate element, the government element. What do you know?
Yeah, there are the people who pretty much are trying to convey, Victor, throughout South Korea that they understand that immigration law needs to be upheld. They understand to a degree that side of the equation. But if you put yourself in the shoes of the South Koreans who are going to the United States to try to help out President Trump's vision of making American industry great again, I think people are astonished here, Victor, that even if there were visa irregularities for more than 300 South Koreans, what you've heard here in Seoul and throughout South Korea over the weekend is pretty much the following: that even if there were visa violations, how about authorities in the United States coming to this plant and saying, hey, we think that XYZ is wrong? Instead, there is an astonished and floored feeling that people have looking at this video released from ICE, seeing fellow South Korean citizens with chains around their waists led away in handcuffs. When you're talking about a key American ally right next door to China in this critical part of the world that's trying to help out American industry.
그렇게 남아서 이러고 싶은 사람은 없었을 것 같아요.
Nobody is going to stay and work when it's like this.
다음에도 다 같이 나갈까라는 생각도 좀 들기도 하고.
After this situation, we considered leaving our jobs.
굳이
I don't know how the visa will work next time, and there will be some people who need to go there, but I have to think about it.
해봐야 되겠습니다.
미국 측에 도움
They went there to help the U.S.
미국 측에서도 원했고
The U.S. side also wanted them to work there, but now they are being treated like criminals, which feels very unpleasant.
진짜 범죄자도 아닌데 그렇게
Since they're not actual criminals, the fact that they were taken away like that, I think that's a real problem.
When I was in the military, I spent my military time in Korea. These were the most supportive of us that I ever knew. They supported the U.S. in every way. They looked up to us as, almost like father figures. And to treat them that way, I mean, how far are they going to go until they just say this is not worth it anymore? The entire world's looking at this kind of stuff. We're having people rejecting F-35s now because of the tariffs and the increased cost. The world is going to react to us. And you may not see it right now, and you may see, well, it doesn't affect me, but it does affect you. It will definitely affect you.